Since I have this 100 troy ounces of silver shot, figured we'd go ahead and do a little pouring video today. Hey everyone, it's Rob Finds Treasure and welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, periodically I do some pouring videos, although recently I haven't done as many of them. Although I've been pouring some things and offering them up on my channel, I haven't really filmed the process, mainly because sometimes it's just fun to go ahead and pour without all the camera work. But a lot of you have been asking about me filming some pours, so I figured today we'll do some of this 100 ounces here and likely just go ahead and pour some silver bars. Nothing fancy schmancy, at least not that I can think of right now because I have limited time, but I'll probably do a handful of bars and I might even include some stamping, and if I decide, maybe even some toning as well. Let's go ahead and go on out to the electric furnace and let's get it heated up and get this silver shot melting. So for today's melt, we'll be using an electronic furnace versus my Devil Forge, mainly because I like to keep the precious metal stuff in the electronic furnace because it's A, easier to heat up, B, easier to pour, and C, I'm using a little bit of electricity versus propane gas. We'll just go ahead and flip that on, let it warm up. Typically, this one goes up to 1200 degrees, but for silver shot, I'm probably only gonna pour it around 1100 degrees. It's set for 1110 right now. We'll go ahead and pop the top here. I'll grab the Crucible, and I'll probably fill it up about a third of the way to start, maybe halfway, because that'll give me a couple of pours. Let me go ahead and get this poured into here, put it into that. It'll take about 30 to 40 minutes until it's ready to pour, so that gives me time to do other things. No, you don't. All right, you guys get the point. Let me get it filled up. Just a quick update. We're about 10 minutes in, just over 400 degrees. Again, we're climbing up to 1100 plus degrees, or at least right around 1100 degrees. We'll be back in maybe another 10 minutes. 10 more minutes later, 723 degrees now. So we probably have about 15 to 20 more minutes to get this to where it needs to be. Again, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes on the electric furnace, a lot longer than using the Devil Forge. But like I said, it's easier to use, a lot less fuss, and it's a cleaner pour typically because I like the way the crucibles are set up. I'll be back when we're ready to pour. And then, of course, I'll have to preheat my molds here to make sure they're ready. I have a 5-ounce mold, a 3-ounce mold, and a 2-ounce mold. It just depends on if I pour to the line. They're typically a little bit heavier, but we'll try to get it close to a 5, a 3, and a 2 as best we can. We'll be back when it's time to pour. Before you pour molten metal into any mold, you should always heat it to remove any moisture. Otherwise, you'll have some steam explosions. So we're going to turn this on. I'm going to heat these up. You'll probably see the moisture evaporate from the molds. Now I'll continue to heat these molds up because I have found it's better to have the molds heated up pretty substantially to make sure that there's a smooth pour, prevent any bubbling at the bottom. Not that it's fail-safe, but at the end of the day, it's safer in general and usually produces a better pour. We're getting closer, probably another 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll pour. The Crucible is at 1070 degrees. You can pour anything north of 1050. I like it closer to 1100, but we're gonna give it a go. Always wear safety goggles, long sleeves, and gloves. You never know what could happen. I'm also gonna be not talking while I pour because I'll be using the torch to go ahead and create a little bit of rippling on this 5-ounce bar. Just a little bit of rippling, and that's an over pour, so that's probably going to be 5.5 ounces. But I'm not going to get mad if it's 5.5 ounces because I like the way it came out. It's a good looking bar, and we'll show it to you after it's quenched. But I'm going to get the next mold ready because we're going to pour a 3.3 ounce one next. Slight bit of over pour on the edge. We'll have to see if that looks nice enough. I might be able to just sand that down a little bit to make it a little more of an even bar, but it doesn't look bad. Let me go ahead and get these quenched now that they're poured. That's a beefy 5 ounce bar. Let's get it in the water. And now we'll do the probably almost 3.5 ounces. A little bit of an over pour, like I said. There's a little bit of a lip on it. You can see how hot the molds are. The gloves get a little bit of a smoke coming off them. Now I'm going to add a little more shot to the crucible. Wait till it gets up to temperature and pour some more bars. But I'll be back to show you what the bars look like after they've been quenched. So here's a good look at that 5 ounce bar. Again, it's probably going to be 5.5. A little bit of an over pour. On the first pours, I do notice that we get a little bit of bubbling on the bottom, but it just gives it character. And either way, this will be stamped just on the top. Hopefully it's in focus for you guys, but not a bad 5 ounce bar, or at least 5 ounce plus. And then here's a look at the 3.5 ounce bar or 3 ounce bar, somewhere in that range. And it definitely has a little bit of a notch on top, as you can see, but we can correct that with a little bit of sanding. All right, 2 bars down. I'll probably film a couple more just so you can see it. Figured I'd come back and let you know I went ahead and weighed this guy, and I was way off. That is over 7 ounces, like 7.1 ounces, Troy. So I knew being high it was going to be over, but I didn't know it was that over. We're going to keep it. It's a nice looking bar. Don't like them that heavy typically, but still cool. And even the one I thought was 3.5 ounces came out to over 4 as well. And I did fix the little over pour. So definitely looks good. I think it's 4.1 and 7.1. We'll get final weights on these, but definitely got to pour a little bit less on the next round so I don't have such big bars. All right, I've adjusted the angle of the camera. Hopefully we can get a little better pouring action that you guys can see, but safety comes over anything else, and I can't have the camera too close to the furnace, otherwise it overheats. We're gonna start pouring another bar. Hopefully I can get this one nearer to 5 ounces and not 7 plus. All right. Definitely looks a lot lighter than the other one. Hopefully it's not under 5. Probably won't be though. Still came out pretty nice for sure. We'll let the crucible reheat back up about another 15 degrees, and we'll pour another one. That one came out pretty good. Still heavy, probably gonna be near 4 ounces. It's always tough on the shallow molds to see your pour line properly, but let's take a look at this one. Definitely smaller. Let's go ahead and quench it. And then we've got the smaller of the two again. Give it a nice quench. Reset the molds. And take a look at these bad boys. All right, here's the first one. Definitely not as beefy. I'll get you guys a weight here in a second. And the other one came out nice as well. That'll be a good stamping one. Let's go ahead and get them weighed up and see what they weigh. The bigger bar, 5.5. That's a little more like it. And the other one, 3.3 as expected, so that's good. So we got a couple of bigger bars now and a couple of smaller bars. I think I will pour 2 more of each or 1 more of each for 3 of each, and then we'll pour some small ones. I'll change the camera angle and try to get even a better pour. Figured I'd do a 2-for-1 that time. And we'll get them quenched. Definitely poured this one a little bit less. Maybe we're closer to that 5 after all. And this one's probably still north of 3, but maybe not much. All right, let's take a look at them. We'll start with the smaller one because it'll cool quicker. Not too bad. And we'll get it weighed up since I'm right here. 3.15. And then the final of the big ones. Nice crater in the middle. Good for stamping. Let's see what it weighs. 504. So you can't get mad at that. That's a 5-ounce one. I like it. All right. I'm going to pour a few other things. Then I got to get to stamping. I'll bring you guys back here momentarily. Don't know if we have enough silver in the Crucible for this pour, but we'll try. That's going to be light. It's going to be light. But we got it. Just wanted to get one of the small pours on film for you guys. That's a little guy. It's a little guy, but they're fun to pour. Itty bitty. Did we get 2 ounces out of it? 2.17. All right. I will not record anymore, but I'm going to pour a few more. So as you can see, we have a myriad of bars to stamp. There's 10 of them over there, or actually 9 bars and 1 button. But for sake of time, I'm just going to film the first bar being stamped. And then, of course, you guys will get the picture after that. Many of you already know, but bottom line is I have 6mm stamps here for the numbers. I've got some pre-made stamps, 3/9 fine, ounces Troy, and my RFT stamp. Got a 55-pound anvil, and yes, I bought it because it was 55 pounds. Scale to double check before I stamp, and my 3-ounce sledgehammer, which I think works great for stamping stuff like silver in a small scale. Let me go ahead and zoom in. And we'll begin the stamping process on the first bar. So just to make sure everything is kosher, we're gonna weigh it up. Make sure it's on ounces troy. It is. And this one is 5.04 ounces. So we're just gonna call it 5 troy ounces. We're gonna set it up on here, and I'm gonna choose the spot that I think will stamp the best with my logo. And I think it's gonna be this side right here. The key is to make sure you line it up and balance it on top. This will take me a few seconds, so I might end up fast forwarding, but I'm gonna make sure that it's where I want it to be. Centered as much as possible to the left. Looks good from that angle. Looks good from that angle. And then with stamping, there really is no room for being ginger. You just give it a good whack. Here we go. We've done that. We've got my logo set on there. It's a good stamp. Now we know it's 5 ounces troy, so I'm gonna grab out the 5. There it is. And I'll be quiet now, and I'm just gonna stamp away so I can focus. And there you have it, 5 ounces troy. A little bit of a deep strike on the ounces troy, but gives it a little character. First bar is stamped, 9 more to go. I'll be back when I'm done, probably in my coin room to show off the final products. All right, it took us about an hour, but we got them all stamped. Obviously, you guys saw me stamping some of the bigger bars. I probably could soak that in some acid to clean off a little bit of that schmutz that's on there, but I'm just gonna leave them like they are. The big bars I just stamped the front of, and you saw me stamp the 5 troy ounce. The smaller bars I only stamped the front as well. As you can see, none of these have been polished or cleaned in any fashion. So technically, if I were to tumble them a little bit, we can make them shine a little bit more, but I'm gonna leave them as they are. And then these 3 are my RFT serialized bars. We left off at 124. So this is number 125. 126 and 127. These are stamped a little bit differently because I have to stamp the reverses first and then stamp the front, and it does get a little bit of indentations and some little small marks, but that's how all of my serialized channel bars have always been. I've got an RFT button. I thought I poured it as a 1 troy ounce, but it was 30.3 grams, so I put down 30 grams. We were basically a gram short of an ounce. It's like 0.977 troy ounces. So I didn't want to call it a troy ounce because it's not. So close. And then I decided to go ahead and take the final 2 ounces that were left in the crucible and pour an RFT egg. And I polished the front after hammering the heck out of it to give it some detail. And then I went ahead and toned it. And I think it came out really nice. Nothing on the back, just the toning. But yeah, 2.05 troy ounces. So we called it 2 ounces troy, 3/9 fine silver, and it has been toned. And I think it looks fantastic. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this metal pour. I'll have these pours available during my live streams if anyone has any interest in them. Outside of that, until the next pour, as always, happy hunting, happy stacking, happy pouring, and thanks for watching.